A lot has changed in 7 months. In my life, and probably your life too. Now I know you're wondering, where in the hell is the F formula review? If you promise to watch this one, at the end of the video, I'll tell you exactly what's going on with that. I'm just fucking with you. F formula video is coming. Marnie from the F formula actually reached out to me and we had a one-on-one conversation, and she was nice enough to send me out a copy of the program for free. So I'm gonna use that material to make my next video. That's not what today's video is about. I'm sure you're like me. In your free time, you're scrolling through TikTok and you come across something that you don't know how to feel about. On one hand, you can't help but feel happy for somebody, and on the other hand, you can't help but feel disgusted and a little uncomfortable. What am I talking about exactly? If you spent any time on TikTok or YouTube Shorts in the last, I don't know, year, you might have ran across a channel called the family of Nomads. Essentially, this family is a family of 5 who travels full-time in their RV making content. Seems harmless enough, but wait. Like many people today, 2022 just isn't their year, and it makes sense that you would want to escape and become a nomad, living off the land and traveling. But there is a fine line to that, and you need to have your priorities straight when you're living off the land, especially when you have kids. The family of Nomads are not an exception, and they have made some mistakes. I'm gonna go ahead and preface that I'm not talking about the kids. They have 3 kids, and they are absolutely incredible. I have no problems with them. My issues land with the parents, and this video is hopefully to bring some awareness to this, because maybe other people haven't noticed. If you've seen their channel before and you've read their comments on their YouTube Shorts and their TikToks, you probably know where I'm going with this. But first, before we get into all that, let's start off at the beginning. Just like any other TikToker, the family of Nomads weren't content creators from the beginning. They just made videos documenting their life. Silly videos like these. And as you can see, they weren't really posting very much back then. Very little content, and they weren't really showcasing their kids. But once their TikTok started to gain some traction and some views, that's when something happened. One of the things you're gonna notice when you watch enough family of Nomad videos is that the mom seems to do a lot of the voiceover work, but none of the actual on-camera work. That might seem like a trivial point, but if you watch enough of their videos, you can see there's some sort of pattern emerging. Anytime they're doing any sort of demonstration of a task, either the husband or the kids are doing it. And if you seem to disagree with me, you can take a look at their comments on screen right now. Another thing you're gonna notice while watching these videos is the language that they use while they're speaking to you. Notice how the mom doesn't seem to filter herself when she's on camera, using phrases like this.
I did not like getting frustrated with my kids over wasting hygiene products, so we decided to give them a quarterly allowance to spend on all of their personal...
And this.
We hit the road about 1.5 years ago and sold our house and 90% of our belongings to live a life of adventure outside of the box.
Now you might be asking yourself, why is that a problem? The issue is, it's not one of these things by themselves. It's a combination of all the things that are wrong in these videos that gives us a sense of something not being right behind the camera. Content creation is straining, and that's why people like me have taken breaks. But the family of Nomads is 100% of the time content creation. They live their content creation. There is no work and home separation. And you have to ask yourself, is this good and healthy for the kids? Some of you might say yes, and I would disagree. These kids don't have a social life that they need at such a young age. The oldest is 14, the second youngest is 10, and the youngest is 8 years old. I know for sure when I was a teenager, being cooped up with my family all the time definitely was not good for my mental health. I can only imagine for a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old who's going through some hormonal changes, probably wouldn't be so good for them either. Caleb, you're overreacting. It's just a family of content creators trying to make a living. But there are some things that make me question. Take, for example, how the kids are never seemingly interested in what's going on around them or wanting to be involved in the videos in any way.
For about the past 2 weeks because she wanted to learn how to cook for when she moves out. We're leaving our campsite today and we decided to make the kids ride their bikes to our next campsite, but it was okay because our new campsite was actually in the same campground and it wasn't that far.
The language of the mother always says, we made the kids, we blah 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 the kids. Ask yourself, do they want to be involved? From an outsider's perspective, I'd say no, and this clip would probably agree with me.
When Addison's hamster Buttons died, we took him to a funeral home to be cremated. This way we can carry him around in an urn and he can continue to travel and go on adventures with our family.
Not only is she grieving in a time like this, but personal space is a huge thing for teenagers, especially young teenagers. Why Why are we filming our young daughters grieving at a funeral home? Why do we have to film the kids doing every single thing, every mundane thing? These kids have a lack of privacy and therefore a lack of respect. Take a look at this right here.
Our 14-year-old Addison said she wanted to learn how to cook for when she moves out. She researched some recipes.
Imagine being 14 years old and so desperately wanting to get out of content creation, RV life, and live a normal social life. These kids are going to go to college, high school, whatever, and not know how to interact with kids their own age. And I can only imagine for the oldest, Addison, she might have some emotional trauma when it comes to dating in her future life. If you aren't aware, these parents are in their late 30s, like 35 to 40 years old. It seems like to me the parents are bringing their kids into this lifestyle that they didn't ask for because they have their own personal guilt they're trying to deal with, and try to make up for it. They brought their kids along and marketed it as some sort of great opportunity to travel. I used to like these videos and think they're very interesting, but now every time I see one I can't help but feel bad for the kids that are involved. They've only been living in the RV for a little over a year and a half. But a year and a half with no personal space and lack of freedom can really take a toll on a young person's mind. I'm sure I'm gonna get copyright striked by the family of Nomads, but I'm willing to take that as a personal challenge. If you, the family of Nomads, somehow see this video, please make a response video. I so badly want to be wrong in this situation. Now I'm talking to you, directly to the family of Nomads. Please sit down with your kids and have a serious talk with them. Do they want to live this life? For real. No punishment, no anger, nothing. If you guys want to travel on the road and live full time, that's fine. But please have a conversation with your kids. Make sure that they want to do that as well. If that's not the life they want, let them live with another family member. With that slightly depressing wrap up, I think that'll be it for today's video.